Hey guys, Pankaj here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. So in this video, I'm going to talk about Spacy pipelining concept. So those who are very new to this video, I think they should go back to previous video and understand the Spacy basics. And in the first video also, I talked about pipeline, right? But today I'm going to repeat again, and I'll show a couple of examples so that you can get proper hands-on on pipelining. Okay, so let me share my desktop. Okay. So these are the things I'm going to cover today. So we will see what is pipelining, how to add your custom pipeline, check the added pipeline functionality. So whatever pipeline you are going to add in the process, right? How we can check whether it is really working or not. How we can remove the existing pipeline or the pipeline which is added by the user, and how to disable the pipeline which is already existing. Okay, using context manager, and disable pipeline temporarily using context manager. Okay, this is duplicate. I'll remove it. Okay, and how we can read a file and display a complete entity over the file object. Okay, so let's go ahead and understand the basics of pipelining. So I'll use my whiteboard and I'm going to explain about pipelining. Okay, so if you see in the space here, right? So we had one block here, another block. Okay, so this whole block was nothing but part of the pipelining. Okay, and this is your NLP functionality. So NLP, if you remember, right, we write text here, correct? So this whole raw text, let me just write. Raw text data is going to be passed here first. So this will be your text to vec, then maybe NER, then part of speech, then we will have some other functionality also, right? Let's say what else we can have. Okay, so maybe I can take user defined block. Okay, so this user defined block is the one which I am using as custom pipeline, and this is what we are going to see today. So we'll see like how we can enable or disable this, enable or disable this one, or how we can remove the complete block. Okay, and how we can add it, and how we can remove it later and add it back. Okay, so these are the things which we are going to see today. Okay, so let me go back to my notebook. So as usual, I'm going to import this library, import Spacy dot Spacy ASP, then Displacy. We are not going to use, but let it be there. Okay, and what is the version we have? 3.2.1, and English core language model we are going to use it. Okay, so before that, let me talk about some text. So I'll just take maybe about, let's say, Google. I'll take the data from wiki page, just copy paste few paragraphs. Okay, and we'll do some processing over that. So this is our Google data. Let me just use first paragraph. This should be good enough. Copy and paste it here. I'll leave triple quote, okay, because there could be some special character or maybe double quote would have been already used internally. So I'll just use triple quote for multi-line comment. Now print txt. Okay, so this is my text data. Now let's talk about the pipelining. So in the pipelining context, we have a lot of inbuilt parameter or the functionality which will give more insight about what pipeline is already existing, how you can remove, how you can add, right? So first we'll see all the existing pipelining. So we have NLP dot, let's say, pipe. Okay, so if you have pipe factories, right, you can see all the factory made pipe available, like token to vector, tagger, parser, center. This is what we saw here, right? These internal blocks. Okay, then we have attribute, lematizer, and NER. Okay, similarly, we have something called NLP dot get pipe. So this is nothing but your, maybe I can give any pipe name, right? So these are the name which is already existing. I can give any R. So it is going to return the pipe name and their functionality. Okay. So couple of other name. Let me just show here. Pipe labels. So what are various labels? Correct. That also you can see. Now let me just show a couple of other things. We have something called pipe names. Okay. So it is going to return the list of name of all the pipeline. Okay. So this is what we saw under factories. Token to vector, tagger, parser. Same thing you can get in the form of list of all the token name, all the pipelining name. Okay, so this is about this. Now let me show you how to add custom pipeline. So guys, if you remember, maybe those who are very new, right? So those who have worked on the previous Spacy, there used to be direct function called add pipe and give the function name whatever user has created. But 3.5 version, what they have done, they have to use some kind of decorator. I'll explain a little bit about decorator, what it is. Okay, so let's say I want to add one pipeline which will do each text, which will convert each text into uppercase. Okay, so right now none of the pipelining converts given text into the uppercase. Okay, so let's write one user defined function. Maybe I'll give name as apparizer or uppercase, and this is going to get the object or document of output of this particular block. Okay, because each and every block is processing some data and providing the output, right, and feeding it to other block. You see here. So this token to vect, so this is your token to vec. Okay, this block has processed the data and it has passed to the NER. Now NER has done some processing and it has passed to the PUS. Okay, similarly to zero define. So now PUS is giving this particular data to user defined function or the block. Okay, the one which we are passing it, and now that block will also create the document. Okay, so let's see now. So this is going to get some text or some, maybe I'll mention doc. Okay, now I'm going to return doc, or maybe I'll get the processing done for each and every word for W, because doc is nothing but it's a NLP doc, right? It is not a normal string where you can just take the string and just do the uppercase or lowercase, right? You have to have a text data or string data. Right now it is a output of a block which is nothing but NLP doc. Okay, so I'm just going to take for W in doc print W dot. Okay, let me just show you one example here. Uppercase, let's say I'm giving Pankaj. Is it going to work? Okay, so it has taken each word, each letter from that word, it has made the uppercase, correct? So, but in case of output of the previous block, which is nothing but NLP doc, you need to convert into text format. Then only you can directly use upper. Otherwise, it will not work. Okay. So what I will do now, instead of taking this, I'm going to convert a list comprehension. Maybe I'll take OP equal to for W in POC W dot txt dot upper. Okay, that's what it is going to work. Otherwise, it is not going to work. And once you have OP list of comprehension, I can just join them back. Okay, so how to join them back? Join by space dot join and your OP. Okay, so new OP will be your complete sentence or whatever paragraph is there. Now finally, I'm going to convert OP equal to NLP dot make doc. So make sure that your output of that block is also a doc file. Okay. Basically each given block is converting or processing the data and converting to doc, right? So make sure that your user defined block is also does a lot of processing, and at then output should be returned in the form of doc. Otherwise it is not going to work, because later you have to do other part of speech or any R, right? So it is going to work over any R only, not the normal string. Make doc of op. So I'll just make final output and return final output. Okay, so now my function is ready, and after function is ready, right, you need to use one decorator here. For that we have one function called Spacy.language import language. Okay, so what it is going to do, it is having one function called language, and in that language we have something called decorator as language. So each decorator will be represented as at the symbol. So under language we have something called component. Okay, and component takes name of the function which we are going to add or register in the pipeline. So I'm just going to give the name in the form of string. Okay, so now let me talk about this decorator. So whenever you write a function and just before the function, if you're using add symbol and some decorator name, right, it is going to do some predefined functionality, and it is going to be applied over the function which user is defining. Okay, there are a couple of other details also. Maybe I'm going to talk about this once I talk about object-oriented programming concept. Okay, just for timing, you remember decorator is nothing but some predefined functionality, or the command has been already written in this functionality, which is going to be applied over the function which is provided by the user. Okay, so once it is done and if everything is running without any error, means it is already registered. Okay, now you are going to add to the function. So we have NLP dot add pipe, and just give the pipe name. So what is my pipe name? Uppercase, and this should be name of uppercase. That's all. Okay, so you see here, now it has been registered and your function is available under this. How to check whether function is really existing or not? So NLP dot pipe names, using this you can get. You see here, earlier up to any year it was there, right? Now we have registered uppercase functionality also. So now what will happen? Let's go back to the whiteboard. So you have token to wake. I don't know why it is not writing. Let me see if it works here. Okay, so we have one block, token to wake. Okay, it has passed to NER, and this is going to pass to, let's say, part of a speech tag, and finally we have user defined block. Correct? User defined block I have given name as upper riser means it is going to just convert to everything to uppercase. Correct? And this final output is nothing but your NLP doc, and this will be passed for your custom processing. Okay, so you want to filter NER from this, you want to filter POS, you want to do chunking, and what else you can do, maybe some kind of other processing, right? Filtering stop words. Okay, so everything is going to be mentioned in this particular doc. Okay, so this is the doc which is going to be returned from this particular functionality. Yeah. Okay, so now we are going to prove it whether it is really working or not. Okay, so what I'll do, check the added pipeline functionality. How to check that? So what I'll do now, we have text here, right? You see here, this text is like normal text which we copied pasted from Wikipage. Now we'll check whether this is really working or not. So what I'll do, I'm just going to pass the whole text in the NLP object. So we'll take NLP and just pass it and just use OBJ. You see here, everything is getting returned in the form of capital letter. Why? Because we have done this uppercase letter, right? It went to talk to vec, tagger, parser, attribute ruler, lemtizer, NER, then finally it went to uppercase. And uppercase, what it did all the processing and made everything as uppercase letter. And finally it returned in the form of capital letter. Okay, so that's how you add the new pipelining. You can add a number of pipelining. There's no limitation in them. So how we can remove it? So let me see here, NLP dot pipe names, and after removing we have something called NLP dot remove pipeline. Okay, so for remove pipeline, what I can do, I can just copy and paste the same name whatever I have added. So let's not remove uppercase. Maybe what I'll do, I'll just use NER. Okay, now again let's check. So once it is removed, it is going to return what particular name has been removed from the pipeline. Okay, so now let's get the pipelining name. You see here, NER is missing. So once you remove the NER, right, NER block, you are no more going to get named entity recognition from the given doc because you have disabled the functionality. You have removed that particular pipelining. Okay, and if you want to add it back, then what you can do? So how to add? What we can do now? NLP dot add pipe. Just add it. Okay, and then you just get the pipe name. Now NER is back. But remember guys, by default, it is going to be added whenever you are going to add any pipe, right? It is going to be added always at the end. Okay, so let's say NER you want to be before uppercase, like original way, right? So here we have something called position. Maybe first I'll remove it. Remove pipe name and add pipe. Under add, we have something called position, or before or the last, right? So what I'll do, I'll just add before equal to upper case or uppercase. Okay, so now it is added. Now you just see the pipeline. Now NER is just present just before the uppercase. Okay, so you can add either at the first, either at the middle, or anything before some existing pipeline or after some existing pipeline. Okay, so that's how you add it. NLP dot pipelines. Okay, now let's see the another one, disable pipeline temporarily using context manager. Okay, so this is also very helpful when you are going to have very large amount of raw text, right? And you don't want to process everything over large text because you have decided, okay, maybe NER you are not at all interested, POS you are not at all interested, then why to waste time or why to waste execution time by all the pipeline, right? So better you disable while passing the raw text. So that temporary disabling you can do over context manager. Okay, so we have something called with NLP dot, we have something called disable pipes. Okay, so there are two things. Disable pipe will disable always, and it is not going to come back until you add it. Okay, until you enable it back. And disable pipe is going to be used only along with the context manager. Okay, so you can give, let's say, NER, then we have something called, let's say, parser also. Okay, so I think let me take uppercase so that I can show exactly whether it is really working or not. Okay, I don't want to do NER, I don't want to do uppercase, and let's proceed with the object. Object equal to NLP dot text, and I'm going to prove you whether it is really, wait a minute, print obj. I'm going to print just to show you guys it is really it really has done uppercase or not, uppercase conversion or not. Okay, and after printing I'm going to show you whether pipeline is really existing or not. So NLP dot pipe names. Okay, so I'll just mention within context, and the moment you come out of context, so what I'll do without or outside context, see what is happening. It has not done uppercase because we have disabled it. Okay, the complete thing. And within context, you see uppercase is not there, but the moment you come out of the context, it is going to add NER as well as uppercase. Okay, so this is one of the best way to temporarily disable any of the pipelining to save some timing during the execution if you are having very large file. Okay guys, so that's all about adding and enabling disabling pipeline. Now let's see how you can read a file and display the complete entity. Okay, so I'm going to use one file here and save the whole text. So let me go here now, text file. I'll just save the whole text. Let's say I'll give the name as ner.text. Text.text. Okay, now I'm going to read this file. So file object equal to open ner text.text. Okay, then create the whole object. Spacy dot render rendered what it wants. So it needs a whole object equal to what I will do NLP underscore f4 dot read. Okay, so it will read the whole chunk, create the object and just pass that object here and give the style as ent entities. Is it ents? No. Let me see what is the issue. NER could not be run. Did you forget initialize? Okay. So I think we have initialized the NER, right? Okay, so what I'll do, I'll just load the whole context again. This is ENT. Okay, so that's how you can get it. So remember guys, this entities are being represented for all kind of data, right? So during pipeline you can write your own user defined block, and in that block you display only those entities which is really required. Okay, so in the function you can highlight what option you want to display, not all. Correct. So this is the way you can read the whole chunk of data in one file, from one file, create an NLP object, pass that object to a display render and use the style as entities. Okay, so that's all about this. I hope you like this video, and believe me guys, this is very important thing, and in interview also this might be asked, like how this pipelining works, how you can write your own pipeline, how you can insert, you can temporarily disable, and all those things. This will be very helpful when you do large chunk of raw text data processing. Okay, so that's all for today. So tomorrow or maybe in the next video, we'll see about we will wind up the specific topic, and there we are going to see a word cloud as well as a couple of other things. Okay, so yeah, I think very small things are remaining, so we'll finish it very soon. Okay, thank you guys. Bye bye.